Humans were designed to create, not just to consume. And if all you do is consume, that's probably why you're depressed. Something I've realized over the past few years. If all you do is scroll on social media and you're just constantly consuming content, but you never actually create any art of yourself, how do you expect yourself to feel fulfilled at all? You know, it's weird because in my family, I've noticed that when my relatives are done working, they always just go and watch TV, or they always are scrolling on their phone. And they never actually make anything. And I used to be just like them. Like, you act like your role models in your life. Like, my parents did that. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, so my 2 older siblings always did that, and I sort of just followed in suit. It wasn't until October that I actually started making content, and it's completely shifted my brain. And consumption doesn't just have to be content. It could be pretty much anything. Right? Like, consumption could literally just be like the food that you're eating. It could be the relationships that you're watching. You could just be consuming other people having relationships and you don't have any for yourself. I believe that innately humans are we have innate desires to create, and it's a spiritual part of us. You can't just constantly watch everyone else do the things that you want to do. Since I've started my journey with starting to actually create myself, I've realized, number one, it's a lot harder than I anticipated. But number two, it clears my mind. It makes me feel good. No matter what I've gone through on a given day, if I created, that wasn't a day lost. It's kind of like what the gym is for a lot of people. The gym is a way that people can sort of justify productivity in their mind. Oh, if I did nothing yesterday, but at least I went to the gym, then the day wasn't a waste. That's how I'm viewing creating versus consumption now. I mean, when was the last time you could say that you were consistently creating something? For some of you guys, it might be, hey, like, that's all I do is I create a lot, and I commend that. This video is more so for the people that haven't experienced that are only bystanders in our world. Consumption essentially puts you in a passive role. Creation restores your agency and your sense of control over your life. It's almost like you're literally an audience member when all you do is consume, but the second you start creating, you become the person in the driver's seat of the film. And that's when things are fun. Because don't get me wrong, it's enjoyable to be an audience member and to watch a movie, but it's a lot more enjoyable to be the main character, to be the author of your own story. Endless consumption numbs the mind. That's what I've realized. It convinces you that you are, relaxing, but in reality, it's quietly draining your purpose. You're not really sure what you're supposed to be doing. All of high school, I've said this story before, like, I started to read, and even reading is a form of consumption. At the end of the day, you got to go out and make something out of your life. But I would read a lot, and I would just scroll on my phone a bunch. I was in, I think, my sophomore year of high school when COVID hit. And then it was just like every night, it was just like, oh, let me do like the bare minimum of like the things I need to get done in a day. And then the rest of the day, I can just have to just do whatever I want. And that was just when I started to realize, oh my gosh, like I'm simply a bystander of the world and I'm not experiencing it. It's like I'm in a third person perspective. That's not the role that I want. Depression often comes from unused potential. And what you'll realize is that energy with nowhere to go essentially turns into and becomes pain. Like, it turns inward on you. And so you have, as part of being a human, you have this creative nature. You want to go and do things. You want to go and build. But oftentimes we get distracted by consuming to where it feels just good enough to not push us to be motivated enough to go and build. It's in life, there is different like sections that you can be in terms of motivation and comfort. So there's like a comfort zone, but on the low end of comfort zone, it starts to get to the point where you're like, is like, this is somewhat bearable, but it's getting worse and worse. And then there's a line, there's a threshold where it becomes too much to where you change. And what consumption does is it keeps you in that zone, but not far enough not far enough to where you feel so uncomfortable that you change something, but it's also not good enough to where you can really enjoy your life. So you're stuck in the worst part. It would be better off for you. It's kind of like, it's almost better off for you to just go homeless and just like lose everything, because then you're going to get the motivation to make something of your life, versus to just sort of be this bum that's consuming all day. And that's, there's some sort of terminology, it's like the something paradox, I don't know what it is, but that's a very real thing that I realized in my life. And so you got to wake up and recognize, hey, I'm in this area where I'm just comfortable enough, let me just force myself to push past my limits. In creation, listen, creation doesn't have to be art or content. It's any act of intentional output that makes it sort of feel, your life feel like you're authoring it. So this could be like intentional, this could be like trying to like make new friends. That in and of itself is creation to me, because you are putting in effort for an output that is sort of shaping your life. It doesn't have to be about other people. You don't need to create for the sake of other people. Sometimes you can create for yourself, and sometimes that's the best form of creation. It's the most beautiful because it's personal to you. If you want to expand your consciousness, I believe you have to start creating for yourself, because that's when you start to tap into different aspects of your own identity and to sort of figure things out. Creation also gives back, self-respect and momentum. Consuming promises comfort, but leaves emptiness. It's almost like drugs or something. Like, you feel good while you're on them, and you think that that's going to be really good, but then you come off that high, and you're like, was it really all that good? No, it wasn't, because you're still lacking purpose at the end of the day. Once again, I want to reiterate, I do feel like it's part of being human is that you need to create. It's in our nature. For millennia, humans have constantly created to push the boundaries. Have you guys seen that penguin edit? I've never seen an edit go more viral in my life. That penguin that like leaves its tribe or whatever you call it and heads for the mountains. I love that edit so much, because I think it speaks to like a lot of us have this like desire to sort of branch off and do our own thing and pursue something that we're really passionate about and do so blindly, but we're just scared. It also reminds me of like how every guy says that he any man that's watching this, I know you felt this, where you're like, I just kind of want to go off the grid and just like build a cabin with my bare hands. And you like, the cliche saying, it's like you just kind of, want to do your own thing and like build your own life up. I think that's all these things are kind of tapping into the same idea, which is that you want to build something for yourself. You want to create, because I feel like that's what we're called to do by God. And even if you don't believe in God, like nature, the universe, whatever, it seems innate. And every single person that I've talked to has also felt the same way. And I'm hoping that if you're still watching this video, you probably also feel the same way. But remember, guys, be the author of your own life. Stop consuming so much, because that's what's causing your depression. And the more that you create, the more that I create, the more that we all create, the more beautiful works of art are going to be out there in the world. It just creates for a better world. It's a net positive. Thank you guys for watching.